Bonjour people and welcome back to another review. This time we are looking at the Spider-Man 3 Green Goblin. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Green Goblin wasn't in Spider-Man 3? That was this guy. Well, who am I to explain the mentality of Hasbro and their release schedule, but this figure of Norman Osborn Green Goblin did come out with Spider-Man 3. This version got his own release, but mine was actually part of a multi-pack with several different villains, some of which didn't appear in the films at all. He came with Doc Ock, he came with Lizard, he came with Scorpion, and he came with Rhino. Put down in the comments if you know what set I'm on about and if you ever had it. But this is Green Goblin. He is accurate to how he appeared in the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film, and, spoilers, how he appeared, albeit briefly, at the beginning, in Spider-Man No Way Home, before he had a complete redesign and a better design. But don't tell anybody I said that, even though it's a common consensus, but shh. I don't know what real opinion I've always had on this specific design of Green Goblin. Obviously, he doesn't look like this in the comics. He's missing a lot of purple. He has been compared over the years to looking like a Power Ranger, and I can definitely see it, but also bear in mind Power Rangers wear spandex unitards, so this isn't spandex, is it, guys? Come on, you're degrading him a little bit by calling him a Power Ranger, even though I get it. I completely get it, but still, shush. But yeah, I mean, I can't be too cruel about this design just because I grew up with that Tobey Maguire trilogy, and whilst this is not my Green Goblin by any stretch of the imagination, I still accept it. I mean, have you seen that animatronic that they were trying to figure out before they settled on this? Before we settled on this. I mean, that'd be crazy. They could have just made this one better by having a load of more purple in there. But anyway, enough about the studio and what went on behind the scenes. Let's focus on the toys. So we have a Goblin, and we have a Goblin glider, and we have a couple of pumpkin bombs. But as we can see, he does sit on here. There are a couple of pegs on the base, or on the top of the glider, sorry, that plug into holes in his heels. He doesn't... It's not the best position, is it? Because if you look at how I've got the legs, and it's the only way I can actually get him squatting on here properly, he is doing really an uncanny kind of position. And plus, he likes to do the limbo. But that's because I've had this figure for many years, and he's actually been in storage for many, many, many years. And I've only just got him out because I'm trying to figure out what to keep and what to get rid of. But I must have played with him a great deal for him to be floppy like that. What are you going to do? I mean, I could try and fix him a little bit, but meh. Let's tear him off the glider, let's straighten him up, and let's actually look at the figure itself. Let's try and stand him. How well does he stand up? I think the answer is going to... Well, we've got him. He's not standing straight. So the answer is going to be not very well. And I think that is due to all of the articulation points he's got. All right, that'll have to do. So let's zoom in and let's take a look at that noggin as best we can. So, Goblin, his head sculpt is incredibly accurate to how he looked in the film. You've got obviously the green all over. Shame there's no purple, but anyway. Yellow eyes. You can't see any pupils in there, but why would you want to? Mouth is blacked out. I mean, in the film you could see Willem Dafoe's mouth moving in that gap. There was kind of like a mesh cover, but obviously for the sake of simplicity they just turned it all black. You've got nice silver teeth, lovely moulding all along the side. You've got these goblin ears along there, and you've got some more line detailing curving all the way around the back. If we continue to look at the collar, you've got some nice line work going all along here, and it's just great detail all over for such a small figure, and he is quite small, to be honest. You've got nice lining down the back and on his hopsh. You've got the solid detailing along the arms. It's like a ribbed effect. Then you've got this hard exterior armor like stuff along the arms. His abs and all of that are really nicely sculpted. Detailing continues down along the legs. You have some nice Wow. Yeah, it's like bronzish gold that runs along the outside of his legs. And yeah, I mean, he's so simplistic for colour, isn't he? Really, let's be honest. Taking a look at the Goblin glider, this is pretty cool. It's really just two colours. There is purple, which is missing from the figure. Shut up, me. And there is the silver as well. And it's got some, I suppose, articulation a bit. I mean, it can go like that, and then it can go... And then it can split in half. Yeah. Question is this just a faulty design, or is this because I have long abused it? Thankfully, it looks like it's just friction clips, so I should be able just to snap it back in. There we go. Well, have I actually broken it? Whoa, okay. This is going to make it onto a video that I'm making of all the cock-ups that I make during these reviews. Wow. Right, so that's it fixed as best as I can get it. Now, so this is a criticism of the figure, and I don't see how this could have been down to me, but you can see the joints here. They're, I suppose, warped. Like, if we try our damnedest to zoom in, you can see that these clips here are widening, so they can't really accommodate this little thin piece. So you can try and articulate it, but you've got to be so careful. Again, I don't think that's down to me. It could be, but if it's not, then that's a very poor design of a figure. But anyway, as I was trying to elaborate, you can get the glider to go into an extreme position like that. You've got these grey bits here, which I assume are meant to kind of simulate the blades that he does impale himself with, but they could just be standard design. I mean, there's mouldings there that make it look like there are guns. I know he definitely does shoot from a glider, but the main thing here is pumpkin bombs, which can be stored in there. Now, they don't go in all that easy. They can pop out at the slightest push, but the bombs themselves are orange, as they should be. They have some green detailing in the top and small little dots that go all the way around, so they are fairly accurate to how they appear in the film. Unfortunately, good old Gigi here can't hold any, because his hands are not sculpted, and that's another downside of the figure. Just nothing there. In terms of articulation, Green Goblin can turn his head all the way around due to a ball joint. He can turn his head up like that, and he can turn it down only about that far. If you really want to, you can decapitate him. At his shoulders, he can rotate 360 like that. He can move his arms up only that far. He can rotate them all the way around at the elbow, but he has no elbow bend, and he's got absolutely nothing at the wrists. He has a waist swivel. He can go 360 degrees. He's got no ab crunch of any kind. He can spread his legs beautifully. Then he can kick up that far. He can kick back that far. He at the knees, he has a 360 degree bend. He has a double bend at the knees. This is a really weird position I've got him in. And at the ankles, he has a 360 rotation, and he has pivot up and down. So in terms of articulation, his legs are spectacular. His upper body leaves a bit to be desired, but unfortunately, due to the nature of this waist swivel, it makes putting him on his glider a real pain in the arse, and due to his legs having all this intense and, quite frankly, brilliant articulation, that doesn't help either. To just demonstrate, plug it in like that, and then also because the glider is prone to coming apart, and because it's got all of this articulation on in itself, yeah, it's a misery. I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a misery to get him on and off that thing. For a size comparison, here is good old Norman next to his son, Little Goblin Jr., Harry. And then here he is next to my used and abused Titanium Man and Black Series Cosca Reeves. So you can see how a Spider-Man 3 figure scales in comparison to Star Wars Black Series and to the first Iron Man line, which is... that's a size that's not too dissimilar to Marvel Legends. So overall, what can I say about this Green Goblin figure? It's fine, but because I've had it for many years, obviously my copy is not going to be in the same condition as if you were getting this guy straight from the shelves, or from, I suppose, eBay in this case. He, in terms of articulation, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The top of the body leaves a lot to be desired, whilst the legs are maybe too articulated to account for the Goblin glider. And the glider itself, whilst it has lots of articulation, it makes getting the figure on a bit of a pain in the arse. It looks good. The figure is nicely sculpted, nicely painted, and the glider, the same is true, but it comes with accessories that he can't hold, and getting them on that glider, as I said, is a bit of a pain in the arse. There are better Green Goblin figures out there. I know that there are a few Marvel Legends versions, which are more accurate to the comics, and they're probably 1,000 times better than this. So it's kind of hard for me to recommend this figure. If you want a Goblin that looks like the one from the films, go for it, I suppose. Just playability is a bit of a mixed bag. But he looks nice, and that's the best thing about this figure. He looks really nice. So thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.